people in town were going to support this before we started putting out funds. So we are basing the warrant on language that was represented by town council. The actual expenses associated with this process will be borne entirely by the Conservation Commission through the Conservation Fund. It will not, as far as I can see, cost the town anything to do this. As I said, we think it's important to protect this property for a number of reasons. And so that's why we've decided to try to move ahead with this at this time. As we, I think, all can agree that we really don't, we understand what our situation in the town is now, but 25, 30 years from now, we haven't got a clue, and frankly, most of us won't be here to know that. So we just think it's prudent to take this step.
Okay, thank you. Let me see if Ben or David have questions for you.
So just to clarify, Blake, the property is town forest now. It can't be developed right now as it sits.
Well, actually, this is part of what I referred to. The state legislature passed a bill in this most recent session, which will allow development along Class 6 roads, of which Mud Turtle Pond is one, if the developer is in compliance with existing setback and frontage
But
requirements.
this real estate isn't owned by a developer, it's owned by the town.
Right, but the town could sell it. That's what we're trying to do, is to make sure it doesn't get sold at some place down the road.
In order for the town to sell the land, it would have to go to town meeting, right? So I'm just trying to understand, like right now, as this land sits, it can't be developed, it's held by the town, it's already conserved, or it's already in town forest. It sounds to me like what you guys are trying to do is you're saying, well, we're not gonna do anything with it, but we don't trust future generations to make rational decisions, so we're gonna tie their hands and make that decision for them now. And I mean, that may be a little bit uncharitable, but is that an accurate characterization?
Well, we've seen instances in other towns in New Hampshire and Vermont where the town forest has been sold off, or portions of the town forest sold off, so I'm not going to say it could never happen. But I think just the notion of what you're saying, that we're somehow tying the hands of the future select boards and town people to make rational decisions about disposition of the property, indicates a good reason why we should have a conservation easement on it. Because if people think it needs disposition of the property at some date needs to be left open, then I think that's counter to the best interests of preserving the special character of this particular piece of property.
All right.
Is that?
Yeah. Thank you, Blake. Ben?
I don't have any issues with a conservation easement on it.
Okay.
My guess, even the town can get volatile and change. It would just take a different select board, a different.
It'll take a little longer.
But it still could happen.
Yeah, I concur with that. I think the potential is there, and I know that we need more development, but I'm not sure. I look at Central Park in New York, and if that hadn't been well protected, I'm sure that would have been, like the rest of New York, it built up, and This
I
is-
look at New York and say, gee, people will sleep in 10-story buildings or 20-story buildings.
So,
That's a better solution.
I actually appreciate this action because I think we need some protected areas in
This
town.
may be the first time when
This
we
will
don't
be.
agree.
Yep.
I completely disagree. I think all we're doing is tying the hands of
Right.
future generations, of future people, and we don't know what the circumstances will
No,
be
I-
then. We could have somebody come to us in the future and say, hey, I have this other great parcel, and it's even better, and I wanna trade you because I can use this, and if we throw a conservation easement on here, you just take that ability away from people. I think right now, this property can't be developed. It would have to go to town meeting in order to, and people would have to vote to sell it or develop it. And I just think it's a bad idea to try to control from your grave future generations and what they wanna be able to do from stuff.
I hear ya,
In the
and I
legal world, that's called
understand.
dead hand control, and it's generally frowned upon.
David, you are aware that there are conservation easements on all the other properties that preserves that the town controls, are you not?
I don't know anything about the other
Well,
properties.
that would include, I guess I can take Hughes Brook Landing out of that, but Big Rock Nature Preserve, Trout Pond Forest are all protected. Chappie Wildlife Sanctuary is protected.
Yeah, well, it may be that
So
I'm
it
in the
doesn't,
minority,
it
but
doesn't seem to me to be out of line with actions the town has taken previously, saying that we have a piece of property that we control that has significance, and we want to see it protected. I didn't even get into discussing its recreational value. I was just talking about its cultural and natural communities value. And if you take a look at Rick Vandepol's study that we commissioned, you would see that there are
yeah, no, I read the
amounts of
study.
natural communities there that need to be protected. And, you could say, well, we could swap, except once you swap, the existing natural communities are gone, perhaps. And the point of that stewardship, at least from the point of the Conservation Committee, is to make sure we're protecting natural communities of importance, which is actually in line with goals that are expressed by the state of New Hampshire. So I just don't feel like what we're trying to do is really unprecedented or out of order, out of line.
My argument wasn't that it was unprecedented, but rather that all it does is remove flexibility from future generations that will live in the town of Lyme, that may want to have some flexibility, that may want to be able to do something different, or may want to be able to make a change as a result of circumstances that we right now can't foresee. When private individuals do an easement like that, there's a tax benefit. There is no tax benefit to the town of Lyme to doing this. All we're doing is tying the hands of our descendants, and I don't think that's appropriate. But we can just agree to disagree, and we don't need to debate it here, Blake. Huh?
Yeah,
Well, no, I think it's important to say, I don't disagree that this is restricting the options of future generations to do something with that parcel of land. I'm saying that parcel of land is valuable enough that the option to do with it, something with it, other than its current purpose situation, needs to be taken off the table in the interests of long-term for the town and for this particular piece of property, which, as I've tried to outline, has a number of inherent values.
Blake, I think that's wonderful, and I think I'm not speaking out of turn. That warrant article,
Okay.
that warrant article will go to town meeting for discussion.
Right.
Is that correct?
Well, as long as the Conservation Commission has voted on it to move it forward, I haven't gotten that
Yeah,
word from Blake, but I think they'll do that at their next meeting.
I think you need,
We're scheduled to meet Monday, January 12th. We will take that up, and we will also be taking up the annual appropriation request
Oh.
to help support milfoil control in Post Pond. So those are both on our agenda, and I think Dina indicated within the time frame necessary to have completed before other meetings.
Before the first public hearing, yes.
Yes.
okay, great, so you will take care of getting the Conservation Commission to vote and have those results. We'll be at the Budget Committee tomorrow, but that will be mostly focused on the
Right,
school,
well,
so you.
today you could vote on the conservation one and you
We
could
can,
vote on
yes,
the milfoil one too,
right,
if you choose to.
thank you. I think that we will have a further discussion at Little Town meeting, probably at the Budget Committee, and then at town meeting, so.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
got an opportunity to go beyond the 3 select board members.
Right.
But we appreciate very much you coming in, because I know there were concerns, and to hear the thought behind putting that forward.
Right. Well, I thank you for your consideration, and I'm certainly available to provide more information that people find it would be helpful in their deliberative process.
Okay, thank you, Blake, very
Thank
much.
you. Yes, thank you.
Thanks, Blake.
Okay? You're welcome.
Bye-bye. Okay. We can take that up for discussion later. I don't think we need to do it right now. We've got our fire chief here, and we would love to have you give us an update or further explanation of the communications package.
Yep, and I'll give you what I can, not in a public forum. The simple connection is that right now, there's no clean way for us to communicate with the school via radio. The school went through a large update to put a UHF band radio system in, so that they have much better communications on their grounds, out their playgrounds, etc. But for a larger scale event, there's no radio communication. An example is I just go to do a fire alarm test, right? So we do the normal fire drill, they clear. We don't have a way to talk with our systems with their systems. So this is a repeater system that basically takes their channel, repeats it back to a channel that we have on our radios, and allows complete flexibility for what channel we put it on our side. So there's a lot of practicality in emergency management situations where we want to sit, emergency manager Hensley could sit in his office and communicate directly back and forth with the school if we have a larger event. And then there's all of the events that I don't love talking about that could occur at the school.
Okay, yeah, you don't need to talk about that.
Yeah.
Will the police also be able to utilize this?
We can put it on a police band, we can put it on the fire band, so if it became a situation that was a police call, I will work with the police department as well as dispatch and anyone else that we need to have in the know to work the frequencies back and forth, but it allows us to take their frequency and put it on any tactical operational frequency we want.
But still keep it secure?
Correct.
And how would you feel if we have funds in our budget? Can you get a firm quote? I know we have
I
You
just,
already did that.
you already did
I
that.
got it on the 30th, I had him revise it and make sure, like, if this is a go forward, like now, what does it look like? So the only piece that he didn't have, I'm trying to think of a political way of saying this, he said Motorola is hitting him harder on shipping. That's the only piece he doesn't know about, and it's mostly the antenna components. Outside of that, he felt within 1% that
So-
that quote is accurate.
You've got a quote, so we have a number that we can vote.
We didn't put this out to bid or anything, are you?
I mean,
Nope,
Yeah, I
we did
think
not.
we voted.
So this went all through, and there's good reason for that.
Oh, it is.
Our
It's
tower,
at the beginning.
yeah, our tower right now is managed essentially through Hanover Dispatch and Burlington Communications, so they handle the state police, and the fire frequencies that are on our tower.
7, 8, 9.
If you start
7,
playing
7.
around with people who may not understand all this stuff that's in that setup, which runs the simulcast system throughout the region, if they
No, I
screw
don't.
something up, it could take the simulcast down. I want the vendor that is used to doing that. And in my experience with going back and forth between Burlington and Ossipee, who's the other kind of vendor in the region, Ossipee we actually quoted to do our rescue truck. They're very close. They might be a few percentage points different. And for that difference to bring in somebody that could, and I'm not saying they would, but could cause an issue, whereas Eric at Burlington knows our system clean, so.
Okay.
I probably wouldn't let anyone else touch it, to be completely honest with you. I would
So we have a
be a little concerned.
quote from you for $10,954, but that may be without that other antenna.
I sent it to Dina on the 30th, so if that's the one from,
This is
Yeah, it's just a
1230.
shy under, just a
Yeah.
hair under 11,000.
Yep, 10,954.
and I think he built into that what he anticipated the shipping to be.
Okay,
So I really don't, we feel very good that that's a quote that's gonna go forward without any deviance, but that's the only thing out there that, when I talked to him, I said, what could surprise us? He's like, that's the only piece I don't have a direct number on at this point, and it depends on when we have a shipment coming and how much they charge for that shipment.
yeah, okay, thank
So.
you. Ben or David, do you have questions?
I'll
I
move
just,
it.
well, I'll second it, I just wanna thank you for the explanation.
Yeah,
It just goes over our head when you see.
no, it's, we have discussed this for 25 years. As long as I've been on the fire department, this has been a discussion.
We've
Back-
only discussed it for 25 days.
Yeah, so, and it started back to, the very first days that Jeff Valance came in.
Mhm.
And we had that event, I wanna say it was in April of like '05, '06, maybe '06, where we were going back and forth with the shelter, and we were constantly trying to use their portables. We ended up giving the school one of ours, which was a little bit of an unmitigated disaster for a little bit. So just that communication hub has been talked about since then.
Optimum.
Yeah.
Okay. All those in favor?
David,
Judy, aye. Thank you very much
Yeah.
for coming in. And what we've done then is vote to take the extra money that is very slim
Yeah.
right now in this year's operating budget and buy that outright.
And Hensley was talking about some of the funds from that, the emergency management coming over to that too, from the leftover there, so
Okay,
there was
Work
this,
out those
not a
details.
huge, yeah. But,
great. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
We appreciate all the work and hope it helps.
yeah, no, it will be great. I hope we never use it.
Except
Let's be
Rose.
honest, like,
Yeah.
it's, like, this is one of those systems where you set up for events that are larger that, yeah,
Mhm.
but,
Excellent.
you already voted on the crosswalk, right, the lighted
The
sign?
flight, yeah, and that's already been ordered and
You already voted on this too, so
we voted to do it when we
it's in
had
the manifest,
the number. Thank you, Dina. What do you have for a number in the manifest?
$10,954.
Okay, good.
perfect.
That's what we saw.
16 cents.
No, I left that out.
Yay! All right, that sounds great. Thank
Aaron.
you.
Yeah,
So, as long as you're here,
yeah,
is there anything else you want to talk to us about in terms of fire department budget or fire department issues or, I don't know,
That's all right.
I'm talking
Yeah.
out of turn here, but.
there's one thing cooking, and I just had a conversation with the fire department last night. This will be my last year, and then I'm gonna spend the next 15 months before town meeting at 27, trying to find my replacement. And it may be difficult, and it may require someone coming in from the outside. So I'm not sure where that's gonna go at this point, but it's time for me to start that plan, and I've been trying to build up to it. And I do think that we're gonna need to spend some time this year looking at planning and zoning and how our inspections are going, how we're handling that. I think it needs to mirror more like communities like Hanover and Lead, where that role is a joint position between the fire department and the planning and zoning, rather than it being, it would take a tremendous amount of pressure off a fire chief to not have that. And in a volunteer system, I think that would make a huge difference in,
So wait, let me back you up a second. Explain to me a little bit what you have to do in that regard.
I have to do inspections, I have to bring in the state fire marshal's office because I'm not an inspector. I don't have the certification, so they come up, I meet with them, I take days off pretty consistently to meet with the
What
fire
is this
marshal.
for? Like,
School inspections, any life safety inspections, any foster care,
Connecticut,
Yeah. that kind of stuff. Any place that has occupancy, and it's a commercial structure, we need to do inspections at times. We have multiple schools, we have a developmentally disabled facility not far from here that I'm in every month. There's a lot of stuff that we have that requires someone to go and meet with the fire marshals and go through inspections.
I thought you talked about hiring that out at one time.
We have talked about it,
That's what I'm talking about now.
but it needs to become formal, because I don't think it can be just, there isn't many other towns that are making it just part of the fire department.
Right.
It
So-
needs to be embedded with David.
in your experience as fire chief?
Yep.
What's the hourly burden that you, I mean, like, would you say on average you spend 10 hours a month doing that?
I
or-
would say at least, that's probably the low ball. This last year, because of all of the different facilities that have been going through major changes, it's probably been a lot more than that. I've been taking 2 to 3 days off a month, doing nothing but that.
Well, and you've had a situation, if I could just interject, I think it's less planning and zoning. It is usually within that department, but that's where the building inspector
Correct.
resides.
And that's
And
the,
that's the person who has the training and the
Correct.
skills to do those inspections.
Yep.
So what you're talking about is probably at least a part-time building inspector.
yep. And I don't think, I think if it was a part-time position, that we had someone that was just consistently taking care of those variables, it would free up whoever takes my spot to have more time to deal with the things that actually make the fire department operate. I spend a lot of my time doing that and not able to, we have so many grants that we could apply for, I don't have time. We have so many training opportunities that we could be pushing, I don't have time. So it's that kind of stuff where I think we need to look at this as the town as a time to start looking at a positional shift to figure out how this is gonna operate going forward. If we're gonna stay a town that has a fire chief who lives in the community instead of hiring one out that comes from a different community.
So we're talking volunteer versus paid.
Well, I think already we're doing a stipend, but I think, personally, I don't think we're that far away from, we've had the discussion in the
Yeah.
department for years. Does it make a difference for people responding if they were getting paid or not? And it's right down the middle. Half the people are like, look, I'm retired, I'm in a position where it doesn't change. Half the people are like, I can't respond if I have to leave work because I'm leaving money on the table for the family. So,
Yeah.
and the line is shifting more towards the second part.
Is there someone in the fire department who, with adequate training, could take on that part-time position of building inspector?
No,
Okay.
I mean, possibly
I heard
Hensley.
Gina wanted to do it.
Yeah. I think the only person on our roster is Hensley, and I know Mike has enough other stuff going on that I'm not sure he's willing.
Yeah. He did it for Hanover.
Correct. He did it for Hanover for many years, and
It takes time.
we've gone back and forth. He's still come out with me on some of them. The others, I'm bringing the fire marshals in to try to get a clean
Yeah.
slate for whoever comes next.
That makes sense.
So that's kind of the plan. But
Thank you for sharing that with us.
yeah, outside of that, budget-wise, I mean, I think unfortunately, we're not very far off exactly what we projected in some of the expenses. We had a couple things that overran. Towing a fire truck is expensive when you get it stuck. I think that was like $1,500. And we had a couple defamation things that ran over. from engine, with the newest engine. So outside of that, I think we were pretty good on our budget projection from last year. I added some space in the line items where we tended to run over or have run over. So I feel pretty good about what we put forward for the budget proposal.
Great.
So I'm not sure where that sits at this point in terms of cuts or where
I
things
think-
are, but.
I think the budget committee will be looking at that in 2 weeks, maybe.
Okay,
They haven't cut anything.
okay.
The chief's salary is at 27.5.
Yeah, I think basically I asked
That
for,
was,
You asked for,
in the admin fund, trying to get ahead of this other thing. But if they put it there, at the end of the day, doesn't matter
It's a
which
bottom
one of,
line.
yeah, which one of those buckets it's in. So I see advantages to putting it into the chief stipend, if it, I mean, obviously it can be used for those things. More for whoever comes after me, it allows the town more
Which would
flexibility
be
for
next year's budget,
Yeah.
yep.
for funding,
And
but,
having the discussion a few years in advance
but
is
that's
Yeah.
the only
helpful.
change that happened,
Yep.
that's the only
Yeah.
change that happened.
and that's really what I wanna do, is get ahead of this. I don't wanna be, I want this community to have continuity, and I don't wanna be sitting here saying I'm gonna step away next year at this time. I wanna make sure we have a good year to do the runoff, to try to get whoever's gonna come in
That
next.
makes sense,
So,
that makes good sense.
How old are you now?
46, I was talking to my wife last night, and we realized that, at town meeting in 27, I will have carried a pager for the town of Lyme for 25 years.
Very
So it's
good.
kind of,
Yeah.
yep,
You're still a youngster.
still a youngster, and I think, I have done this position, I've enjoyed doing it for the community, but I don't think it's been good necessarily for me. So,
That's fair enough.
yeah,
I-
yeah.
More sympathetic I could not be.
Yeah, and I don't, that's part of why I've taken on so many of the fire marshal things in the last year or two, is I've really tried to get us a good base point to begin these outside inspectors. I didn't want, an outside inspector to come in and say, you need to make $100,000 worth of repair to a building, and have people be blown up, so we've.
Authors.
Yeah, so we've rolled them in over the last 18 to 24 months to kind of build up the base so that people understand what's a now fix, what's a 5-year fix.
Yep.
So we've built that up with a lot of our commercial structures in town, which is why you've seen some of the stuff at Bed and Breakfast on the Connecticut, why you've seen some of the stuff that's gonna occur at Pathways, and it's all good, it's good for whoever comes next. That's the part I don't know, David, in terms of time, is I've kind of taken on more to make it better for the future, if that makes sense. So the hope is between those two positions that there'll be a more family-oriented ability for someone who's also working a full-time job.
So, in terms of us, if we're talking about hiring a part-time building inspector, which is what it sounds like, is that something that we need to address in this budget that's going to town meeting now, or is it something we would address next year, or what's the timing of that sort of?
My sense is that the discussion should begin at town meeting now, under other matters. And then, because we don't have a position, we don't really have a
Right.
feel for what it's gonna look like. But next year, for sure, early, you should start talking about that, like in
Yep.
August, September.
It's too late in this year's
It's-
budget,
And
yeah.
I think that was part of my positioning on the administrative fund going up, which got pushed over, is if we need to do this in a shorter term basis, like for example, next year's school inspections, this, you know, if we bring in a Lev inspector or a Hanover inspector, those funds can be used in the administrative side of the fire department budget to help pay for that. So I've tried to get some capacity there to assist until the town can get to the next step to figure out what they really wanna do within our current budget. So it will help bridge that gap between this year and the following years when that comes into play.
People are gonna be pissed about having a building inspector, do you think?
We already do.
Yeah,
This isn't a change. It's
So this
just,
is just for commercial, right? I
this
guess.
is really just commercial. So, and it's,
It's not like this is somebody who's
Educational,
gonna go out and go, hey,
No.
you didn't wire your,
I would love to see that personally as an insurance person and a person who goes into buildings when they're on fire from stuff that never should have been installed like that ever. But I also understand the freedom and that comes from the other side. So I don't want this to become a community that,
But doesn't that happen on sale of buildings if they're not let's say a homeowner does all this
Oh,
stuff.
yeah, we do great inspections that, like, you hire an inspector to come out and look at that, and that thing burns down 2 weeks later because the inspector didn't see the wires have been cut underneath the floor. So it's not,
It
Because
needs,
I have heard of
Yeah.
situations in town where the people had to redo everything because they'd done it
like,
themselves.
the entire structure being unstable, that kind of thing, because they cut through supports. Yeah, we've had a few, like,
Well, that and the plumbing
Yeah.
and the electricity done by home people and not,
to your point, it doesn't change what we're doing, it just puts a different hat on it and makes it, I think, we'll be more efficient if it's something that's consistent.
I'm just I always get surprised about the things that people get upset
Yeah.
about.
Yep,
Like, most of the time when there's a kerfuffle about something we've done, I'm like, really?
Yeah,
I would, it's something I wouldn't have anticipated, so I'm trying
Yeah.
to be better about figuring out what those.
no, and I'm happy to speak to that, I'm happy to have, the fire marshal, a lot of stuff what's happened has been in the last few years, there's been a change at the state level, for instance, a pathway structure. That used to fall under DHHS's purview, so it used to be part of the Department of Health and Human Services as far as the safety and operation of the facility. That is now under the fire marshal's purview, which also helps shift into the fire department's purview. So there's been law changes that have occurred that I think are actually good. They're provided to provide better fire safety oversight in some of these commercial structures that are at risk. Foster homes are another thing. If we have people applying for foster licenses, it opens their home up to making sure, like, hey, they have working smoke detectors, they have working egress points, all that
That's good.
stuff. So there's a lot of other inspections that occur and have occurred in town for many years. I believe we haven't done a good job of explaining to the community what it is we actually do. And that's part of, like, the outside stuff beyond people seeing the trucks going at red lights. There's a lot of other stuff that occurs behind the scenes that I didn't know about, and I was on the fire department, so,
I think we do that with a lot of our departments.
yeah.
We don't get the word out there about what they really do.
No, and there's some good reason for not always telling everyone what you're doing.
Yeah.
But there's definitely examples like this where I'm concerned with that too, David, that I don't want this to become an inspection-heavy town. We already have pretty good zoning and planning laws that are in place that hold a lot of this at bay. It's really just continue to maintain the commercial things we're already inspecting with someone who's licensed to do them,
yes,
so,
very good, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
yeah.
Anyone else? We good? Thank you, thank you.
You're welcome.
Good presentation.
I will see you in a couple weeks by the sounds. Miss Judy.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, this Wednesday, the budget committee is doing the school,
Yep.
so we'll come after that. We have to see how they feel, how they're organizing.
I'd love to go before the school. Can we change that?
Yeah.
Sure.
I feel like there might be more pressure after the school. Yeah. Good. All right. Thank you all.
Very good, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yes.
Hey, if you're not gonna run again at the end, in March.
What do you mean, if, she's gonna run again.
And you've always done,
I'm
at least for
moving
the
in
three
with
of us.
Ben after I run.
The budget committee stuff, should one of us go and sit in on that
Yes,
thing
Yeah,
so that we
that would
kinda.
be good,
I'm jumping on that one.
good.
That's why I send you the stuff. You're the vice, they're the second to the budget committee coverage, you know.
Ben, do you want it, or?
I was on the budget committee for 12 years. You might get educated by doing it.
That's just what I need.
Yeah, another frustrated
You open
I mean,
committee.
it's only gonna be for a year, but.
Just to be there to listen.
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt
Wow.
if you came, I don't know if you wanna come to this one, but the next one, when they really dig into the two
Right.
budgets, it probably wouldn't hurt.
Okay, well, you just tell me,
I will
okay?
tell you, okay. All right, you're free tomorrow. Ben?
I think it would be useful to have you there for the discussion of the school budget. If you're gonna be the more of the honcho next year.
But he will be, they're gonna discuss that budget the week after this one as well,
Probably, yeah.
yeah.
You tell me, I
Okay.
don't know what's going on or what's coming up. As you know, I'm hostile to the school anyway.
Well, at this next meeting, they're supposed to be presenting a 3%, 4%, and 5% increase instead of a 6.7. So,
And then,
how much discussion from there, I don't know.
I don't know either, because the week after that is the week that the budget committee looks at the town's operating budget along with warrant articles, and the schools the same, so. Let me, when I go home today, I'll take a glance at exactly what it looks like we've done in the past and how it went. I don't want you to get totally frustrated before you even start.
That's already,
That's too late?
Too late.
Okay. Well, and Phil thinks you should be there for this one. I don't know, what do you think? I hate to see, sometimes it's very repetitive.
Sometimes it is very repetitive, depending on how many years you've been doing it especially. But yeah, I don't, it's interesting, I think it might be worthwhile coming Wednesday night, mainly because I think you're gonna see more discussion tomorrow night, and the next night, I think it might sort of be,
We talked about this,
yeah,
okay.
right,
All right, we'll see you at 7 o'clock here tomorrow night,
right.
okay? I know, it's less than you need.
See if I can find my brandy flask.
Yes.
Put it away somewhere.
you don't have to say anything, you just.
Now you've given me ideas.
Thank you for the suggestion, thank you for backing up the suggestion, yes, sir.
I apologize for being here late. Is it too late to be, thank you. Is it too late to ask a couple public comments?
Sure, no, you may go.
All right, thank you very much. Somebody was looking at one of my YouTube videos. They tried to follow the link from, I tried a link to the agenda of the meeting. They tried, and it looks like the link to the town website, to the old website, they no longer work.
Correct.
What's the, is there a process for
Well, that should
preserving
be,
those links or anything like that?
for the old ones,
Yeah.
no.
And
There's not a process to preserve the old links,
Mhm.
it's,
But the old
Because we have a new-
information is preserved,
we have a new website.
Mhm.
All the,
agendas
all
and,
the agendas and the documents and that are preserved.
Okay.
They're not gone, we
All
have
right.
them.
So how can I find them? I
Go
mean,
to the new one.
okay, we'll look around, I'll ask.
If you just put in the regular, I mean, it's the same URL or whatever you call that.
To lymenewhampshire.gov, right?
We are, yes, we are having some, issues with certain things not working correctly, and Jordan's fixing them as we go along.
Okay.
So if you go to get something like, somebody couldn't get, a certain document or
Right.
whatever. So there's some stuff in Google that we're addressing, so there's some kinks we're working out, but
Okay,
if
thank
they
you.
can't get a document, then they should just, Zoom,
Email.
zip Jordan an email and just say, hey, it's not working. Sometimes it's the person's computer, cause I
Okay.
know, at home I checked one thing on the new website and it
didn't work,
didn't work. But then when I got on the computer here, it worked great.
some of the older ones.
Good.
So,
Okay.
but my computer at home is about 100 years old,
Oh,
so.
it's like mine.
All right. I had one
Yes,
more
sir.
question. In the budget that the select board has proposed, does that include a license that allows all residents of Lyme to see all the data in the new avatar system?
No, we talked
No.
about this before, and in fact, either last week or the week before, that question also came up, and no, it does not at this time. There is access, it is limited, does not include everything. At this point in time, if somebody needs something more, they should get a hold of Dina or Jordan who can help them. They probably will need to come in and get a printed copy, but,
Well, we can pretty much electronically send almost anything to anybody,
Okay,
and happy to.
thank you. Thank you very much.
Yep, we ascertained that there might be a half dozen maybe people who actually want that information. And it seemed like at this point, with the changeover, it was pretty expensive for a half dozen people.
Do you have a notion of how expensive it was?
I can't remember,
I can't remember the figure off the top of my head, but I can
$7,000.
find that. Yeah, but I can find it out.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
For the future.
Well, it seems like if there's only a limited number of people, they certainly come in and get the information they want.
Yep.
Well, you know, that's the other thing with the zoning, with the assessing stuff, right? I mean, they can get the basic information, the property, where it is, the address, who owns it, how many acres, that kind of
Mhm.
stuff.
So if they want the
But
nitty
You
gritty,
can't get the
then,
notes, you can't get the sketches, you can't get the,
yeah,
which I'm not really sure, yeah, why that would help anybody anyways, but whatever. It's,
I know when I go, I look at all that stuff if I'm checking something, but I think most people look at the basic stuff. But yeah, we
Right.
will, that's
Thank you.
on the table, you're welcome. I think, do we have any other public business? Oh, minutes and manifest,
yes.
okay.
I have a lot of comments to the minutes this time, mostly.
I loved it, thank
Just the
you.
little stuff, but.
Yeah, no, it was great. I passed it on, everybody saw it.
And I put a few additional
Yep, I passed that on
quirky
too.
edits after yours, but I will move the minutes.
I'll second.
Thank you, David.
Then I,
David, aye.
Judy, aye. They are approved, and we have a manifest.
I move it.
Thank you, Ben, I will second it.
I'm gonna leave that one because I don't think I saw it.
There it is.
Oh, it's right here. Is it
Okay.
long, Dina?
No, I did not write down the amount, can you look at the back?
That's 77,000. I'll have to look at that
It was a
last page.
reasonable one.
Yeah,
You'll have one more for 25.
Dina, could you state that number again?
I said 77, I can't remember.
Good, 77,000 is all I'm gonna write down anyway.
The last page over there.
$77,416.20.
Thank you.
That 20 cents is important.
yes, we have had many discussions over the years at both the budget committee and in this room for board meetings about dropping off the cents, but when you have a manifest, I
Manifest,
think you
you
kinda
can't,
need it.
Right.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. David's glancing.
Oh, we
at-
got the TAPCO thing.
Yeah,
Nice. Yeah, I'll,
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
David, aye.
And
And Judy, aye. That's approved.
yeah, thank you.
And,
Could you print this on pretty paper like Phil uses?
yeah, that's,
The town
I can
can't
show you a
afford that
couple of
paper,
reams
that's
if you'd
right.
like.
We scrimp in our budget.
um,
You have those 2 warrant articles if you'd like to.
okay. They are the milfoil. I
I
don't,
put the numbers in there.
you did put the numbers in, milfoil treatment, $46,620 is what they wanna raise and appropriate. $23,310 comes from a grant from New Hampshire, DES.
Mhm.
$14,018 comes from the unassigned fund balance. And $9,292 comes from the conservation fund,
Right,
which they have not voted yet, but they
Right.
traditionally have voted for it.
correct. And the unassigned fund balance is the 14,018 left over from, in that rolling fund that we have for
For
milfoil.
milfoil,
Right,
good, thank you, I was gonna ask you about the unassigned fund balance. Okay,
When I look on Google, no one is selling a Save the Milfoil t-shirt.
Would you like
I
us
think
to
there's
make
a-
one for
I
you?
think there's a
There's
real
screen
opportunity.
printers that'll do anything for you.
Yes. And then we'd have to have a big discussion at town meeting, and then if you buy a bunch of them, you can probably jack
No.
the price up.
Years ago, I used to be really into shooting sporting clays, and I would go every week after work one day to shoot sporting clays, and my wife designed a Save the Clays t-shirt.
Oh,
And
that's
put it
very
up on the
funny.
internet, and she sold a couple hundred of them.
Yeah, that's great.
Printify, printify.com, you can make 1 or 100.
That's so great. All right, so what do we wish to do officially with the milfoil treatment? No amount to be raised by taxation.
I'll move it.
I'll second.
And thank you, David. All those in favor say aye.
David, I.
And Judy, aye. So milfoil is approved, and the other one we were talking
It's an easement.
is the easement. That's probably near the front.
Yep.
Yes, it's Article
6.
6.
Right now, you never know,
Yes,
they get
okay,
changed.
authorization to put a conservation easement on the town forest.
We don't have the ability to do that or not, all we can do is vote to
Approve it or not.
Or to support it or not.
Recommend
Well,
it.
you're not approving it, right, you're recommending that it go before the town to be discussed and voted.
And just to, I recognize we're probably gonna go different directions on this, but just to restate my position, it seems to me that what the Conservation Commission and Blake are saying is, we are afraid that some future generation will make a decision that we disagree with, and we won't be here anymore. And so we wanna prevent them from doing that. And I just think that's fundamentally a bad idea. I trust the people that come after us to make smart decisions, as smart or maybe smarter, maybe better informed than the ones we're making. And I don't wanna take away their flexibility and their ability to do that. There may be a very good reason at some future date to swap some of that land for another parcel of land, or to do something that we can't even imagine right
Are you
now.
proposing that we undo all the conservation?
No, I'm not, because that's not before us, that's a red herring. But what's before us right now is this question, and so, from my perspective, I don't support this.
Okay. As you know, I do support it. I would take a different spin on what you put on it. I think that we need to conserve some of these large wild parcels. There may be other properties, like the Academy building, that could be used in different ways. But I have seen in my tender years, really bad decisions being made, driven by good, thoughtful people who it ends up that the theory does not become the reality. And so I'm just cautious of that. So I would support this article, but it doesn't matter, it will be on the warrant.
Yeah, the only question is,
Do
is
we
the select board gonna support it, or support it unanimously or not?
Yeah, right, that's the question. So Ben, what
Same as before, I support it.
you supported it?
Yeah.
So we should do a vote.
Yep,
We should absolutely do a vote. David?
I vote nay.
well, wait a minute, who moved and who
I'll move.
seconded?
Well, I will second it. Okay. David says
I vote no.
no. Ben says,
Yes,
and Judy says yes.
So it will be supported by the select board by a vote of 2-1.
Mhm. 2 in favor, 1 opposed. And I believe we voted on everything else in here, is that right, Dina?
Yes, ma'am.
Good, we've done our homework. Thank you, David. Now, I believe we have someone coming in for an 11
You do.
a.m. So that's 5 minutes from now,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna move that we go into non-public session. And,
I'll second.
thank you, David. What, did I leave something? No, that's it. Judy and David, all those in favor of going into non-public session?
Jen,
David, aye?
Judy, aye. It's approved.
Rich, before you run out,
Yes.
you're invited